Hi guys, Louis here and welcome back to the channel. Now in my last video I spoke through some of the things you need to consider when applying for that first job, and one of those things kind of mentioned how to build your portfolio and sort of boost it a bit more by responding to a brief and creating something from that. I thought that's what I could do in today's video. I could show you how I sort of would respond to a brief. I found this website called Good Brief. I think it's goodbrief.io. What it allows you to do is actually just select a few different things and it will generate a random brief for you. And yeah, we're going to be responding to a random brief for the day, because why not work on Sundays? Luckily I enjoy what I do, so this is for a bit of fun, you know? This is my idea of fun. I need more friends. But what we're going to do is we're going to just start with the logo. I also don't know if I should pick one or I should just do random. You know what, we're just going to go for it. We're going to just go random. We're going all out and generate the brief. Cool, so this is our random brief. Milk and honey. Interesting. So that's what it's called. The company description. We are a fashion company that sells sustainable menswear. Our items are made with low-cost materials and are available in our retail stores. So that's good. It's not just an online store. We know they have a kind of physical store. Our target audience is college students. We want to convey a sense of nostalgia whilst at the same time being lively. So the job description. You must create a logo using the information given in this brief. They would prefer an emblem that uses the colour purple. The logo will be printed on the side of vehicles, so take into account the company's values and preferences and make sure it will work for the planned use cases. Cool, so this is our random brief. So we'll be designing a random fashion logo today for the company name Milk and Honey. So what do we do? What is the first step here? First thing I'm going to do is just sort of go through this and just pick out the key points that I need to consider. And this is just things like, you know, the usages, like it's going to be on the side of a van, they need it as an emblem, it's going to be on t-shirts. So we need to work out like how we're actually going to create this and all the things that they like and they're asking for specifically in their job description. I wrote down some key points here. So after looking over this brief, I think it's clear that they kind of want to convey that sustainability message, or that's something to consider. It's aimed at college students, so it's got to be quite cool, I guess. Like, you know, it's quite a social place. People are going to want to wear this out. Like, if it's not cool, people are not going to wear it, so that won't really attack that market very well. So also it could maybe tap into the streetwear market a little bit. Purple is the main colour. There needs to be a nostalgia element to this, which college students, I'm guessing it's today, it's a little bit younger than me, but maybe late 90s. So that might be an aesthetic to sort of take into consideration. If there's anything we can take from that, that might, you know, add that sense of nostalgia in there. They said in there they wanted it to be lively, so I think it needs to be quite cool and eye-catching. I'm already sort of starting to get some ideas of like MTV. Can you remember them? They had like quite a cool bold logo print that was quite lively, and they overlaid loads of different stuff within that sort of logo, and that worked really well. Now that we've sort of outlined what we need to do, I'm going to go and have a little look online, create a mood board, and then I'm just going to jot down any sort of random ideas I have to do with the logo design, get it on a bit of paper. So as you can see on this mood board, there are the things that I was sort of talking about before, and these key points that we need to look at, this sort of bold, eye-catching, like colourful sense of 90s nostalgia. The other things I was thinking of, obviously the 90s and purple, like you automatically think of like these sort of chrome logo lookups. Like this Club Nitro one here is quite cool, but also like this like Holy City, these sort of things. It's that bold type. I think everything was a lot bolder in the 90s, wasn't it? Everything was bigger and bolder. So I think that's a theme that we're going to keep. So what I'm going to do now is just jot down the ideas that I've got in my head, and yeah, just get some of those ideas down on paper so I can sort of just like, yeah, brain dump it out and then start working from a few of those rough sketches and a few rough ideas. So right then, allow the drawing. Allow the drawing. It's not amazing, all right? But these are the rough sketches. So starting off, yeah, there's a few ideas in here that I really want to take forward. A few ideas that I really like, including the one at the bottom there, the milk and honey on this sort of big bold shape. And top left, I like the idea of sort of incorporating the splash of the milk somehow within the actual letter form. So that could be something to look at. I was also thinking at the milk and honey in the circle, sort of like a Looney Tunes sort of idea. So it could be one of those, but yeah, I'm not going to go too in depth here because these are just rough ideas, but it's what I got at the moment. Right then, so I started off with 3 different typefaces. 2 of them were quite scripty and brushy, but the top one was, I think it's called Be Bold. Very bold, a little bit wobbly. Kind of had an idea for this one, so I decided to start with that one. I just needed to sort the tracking out a little bit because it was a little bit off on some of the letters, so I sorted that out. I did shear it a bit and see how that would work, and I also sort of created these weird abstract sort of shapes. I was going off the ideas that were in that mood board, but I wanted it to be a little bit more round, curvy, and a little bit cleaner as a shape. Had the idea of adding like a nice thick stroke on the outside of the text and slightly having it coming off the side of these little abstract shapes that I just drawn. which I thought was pretty nice, and I decided to stick with that idea and push it a little bit further. The shape was sort of meant to resemble like milk or the cowhide, like, you know, like a spot on the side of a cow. That's sort of vibe I was going with in that. I thought it looked pretty cool. It also looked like a shadow was coming off the side of it, so I decided to go with that idea, and I was kind of into it, so I pushed it as far as I could and just tried to tweak it a little bit, make it work. Need a little bit of work to fit perfectly and get the balance right in terms of the whole logo. I started playing around with this purple colour a little bit. I don't think this is the right purple colour. Down the line I'm going to change it to something a bit paler, but this is just the starting purple that we're going with. But I think it's a little bit too jarring, not really digging it. I did try another idea where I overlaid the same sort of thing but over a circle to see like how it would be. Almost like the Looney Tunes, remember that? Looney Tunes outro? Kind of go with that. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling it as much. Or like Planet Hollywood, kind of that you imagine that. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling that one as much. But I did try it in purple as well just to see. But yeah, I think I prefer the first one a lot more. I then went on to the next typeface, just to try and get some of those ideas that I had down on paper, but I was only kind of really experimenting with one idea at this point. Normally I'll try out a few different ideas for any client and show some routes, but for this we're just going with one because just for a bit of fun, you know. I really wanted to refine the shape and make the shape better and fit better, so I tried out a few different options and variations for this, but really I was drawn back to the one that I first created. Sometimes you do well and you get lucky and you kind of like the first thing that you created, so you know, it's all good. This is starting to look like a Dorito, isn't it? Also bang that one there straight in the purple to see what it would look like on black, but again, yeah, not really feeling it as much as I am the first one. Add a little sheer to it as well to see if that would save the day, but nah, I think I'm set with the first one, so I went back to that, decided to clean that up, and yeah, I think this is the favourite at the moment. Right then, so after a little bit of development there, I tried out a few different ideas. I tried experimenting with the other ones a little bit, but I think I was just getting a general, I've been drawn to this one a lot more. I think I had a better idea for this one, and I wasn't going to try and force one of the other ones if I didn't really like it as much as this one. Obviously, I'd provide options again, like I said, normally, if I was doing this for an actual client, I would provide a few different options, but for this, we're just really going with one. So I thought, why not stick with the one that I like the most, which is this one here. It's not finished. I just thought I'd just kind of chat you through where I'm at and the problems I'm currently having with this logo. So I went off on a bit of a tangent, and obviously I need to make sure it's more of an emblem. So for that, I mean, it doesn't have to be like a circle emblem, but like an emblem is a bit more of like a altogether lockup, I guess. So we could add something else in there, maybe an established, or you know, could add in some more text in there, like a sustainable clothing or something like that, to make it a little bit more of like a holding device, I guess, just like a complete full lockup. So I'm really liking the bold text. I think that worked perfectly. I like the typeface. It kind of has a bit of a wobble to it. It goes well with, you know, Milk and Honey, and it still has that sort of bold 90s nostalgia feel. It almost kind of goes toward like the Nickelodeon sort of like logo. This side, just this bit here is not working, this top right part, which I keep fiddling around with, but I'm just not, it's just not working how I kind of vision it in my head. So I know, I just thought I'd share with you where I'm currently at and my sort of thought process on that. But what I'm going to do now is just dive into this, into the nitty gritty bits, and just tweak up a few little bits here and there and get this looking proper nice. Cool, so this is where we're at in terms of a final sort of lockup design. So I did a variation like this, and then I also did a little variation like this where it has like the established logo underneath and the text kind of follows the outline. I thought that was pretty cool. I tried that again here with sustainable clothing, try and get that in there. I'm not sure it really works with something so long like that amount of text, but I think the overall lookup looks pretty cool, especially like this. Thought it did look a little bit like some sort of honey monster, so I added some eyes very quickly. Not very good eyes, and yeah, I don't think we're going to go with that route. But I tried it out in a few different colorways. I really like just the white and purple version, to be honest. So you can imagine that on the back of like a white print t-shirt, and I think that would look pretty cool. That's like a big bold print. So what I'm going to do now is sort of mock this up on a t-shirt or some like clothing tags, and on the side of the van to see what that sort of looks like as a final piece in situ, in yeah, mocked up in real life. So I took another look at the colors and I just wasn't feeling that purple, so went back and just tweaked the colours a little bit and got this sort of colour scheme. I think the dark purple is a lot nicer, and the pale sort of purpley pink colour as well looks a lot nicer. I think that other purple was just, yeah, a bit too jarring. So going forward, this is the final logo with the two final colours. So I'll try and push this a little bit throughout the rest of the branding and the mock-ups, but yeah, this is the colours. So I designed a couple of poster mock-ups here. I kept with the style of like sort of streetwear and high fashion, where a lot of their poster designs and editorial work is very, very minimal. There's normally like not a lot of copy when it comes to the actual design, so decided to stay with that and just added a little bit of the grainy texture over the top to sort of, you know, add in a little bit of that sustainability vibe, authentic, earthy. I actually took the sustainable clothing little tagline from underneath the logo, and I thought on its own it's like kind of weird and kind of draws your eye to it because it's, you know, got this wavy sort of direction going on. And I thought actually I'm going to use that for the rest of the branding, so I literally just had that and an outline version of the logo that I made in the bottom left and bottom right of the actual poster. And I thought the outline version actually doesn't take away from the poster, it just kind of sits nice down there. I thought it was, yeah, it worked pretty well. So these are just two very minimal poster designs with a model kind of wearing the t-shirt and it looking cool mocked up. But yeah, I'm really liking this. If I saw this in the street, sort of flyed all over Shoreditch, I'd be like, cool, I like that. So I also mocked this up on the side of a van. In the early brief, it said that they wanted this on some sort of van to deliver the clothing to, I guess, various stores or deliver it around the university campuses, whatever it was. But I decided to mock it up on the side of this camper van. I thought it'd be a little bit more of an interesting van. I was toying with the idea of it being like a milk float and like a repurposed milk float van, but I thought maybe with too much the milk coming in there, people might actually think it's some sort of drink or something to do with actual milk. So I deferred away from that, but maybe it would be cool if we made the milk float. But okay, I guess we'll have a look at that another time. Yeah, that is it for today's video. Hopefully you have learned a little something and you've seen a little bit behind my process and how I respond to a brief. Yeah, I'm keen to know what you guys think of this, whether you like it, whether you don't. It's all good. Let me know down below what you would change or how you would approach it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Trying to hit 10K by Christmas. I know it's a bit of a high goal, but you know, I'm really enjoying cracking these out. I'm really enjoying creating this stuff at the moment, showing you my design process and yeah, just making stuff really. So make sure you're on board so you don't miss any of those. Take care, see you later, and yeah, in a bit.